Michael Bates is my name. Michael Bates Jr. You know, I don't know why anybody would name a child after themselves, but yeah, see,
First chance I get. I'm gonna get first boy I get. I'm getting Mitch Joseph Jr. one, two, and three. I'm not even gonna switch it up. I'm gonna just put numbers at the end. Oh,
I've I've been at Farmers in insurance for a long time, for almost 8 years now.
nice.
Um, my kind of passions that drive me are the arts, so I was teaching dance since I was about 16. Um, I've been into music. I played violin most of my life, so that kind of drove me into like writing R&B.
Yeah,
And obviously, I grew up in hip hop, so rap came easily to me.
yeah,
Um, so those are my passions, the arts in general.
yeah.
Um, I'm raising two kids. Avery, she is 7, going to be 8 this year, and then Sammy, he is 10. He's going to be 11 in like 4 weeks.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Oh, you got to give him that. That's 10 and a half to you, sir. You got to give him that half, man. Don't try to take the half.
Yeah, I'll give it 10 to 85%.
I love it. I love it. Wow. 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 So you got a mix of everything. So how old are you, Mike?
28.
28. Okay. Okay. So you had a young one. Now, let me ask you this, because you are the kind of person I want to talk to.
Okay.
And what I mean by that is that um 28. So 18?
Sammy is biologically my fiance son,
Okay. Okay.
but I'm raising him, so he's my son.
I dig it. I dig it.
I had Avery at 20.
20. Okay. So
Yep.
still young,
Yep.
right? And this is the one thing I always I'm curious about, because at that point, for the most part, you're a boy.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Definitely.
there's this saying that goes, men don't really mature or become men until they get to their 30s, and it's kind of like a slick comment, but I feel like as I've grown, there's a little bit of truth to that.
Yeah.
And so how was your experience, like at that age? Like how was your experience, like just walking into fatherhood?
So I had Avery with my in a previous relationship.
Hmm.
She had a 3-year old. So as soon as we got together, and her daughter didn't have an active father. As soon as we got together, I kind of stepped right into that.
Okay.
Uh, and I just kind of just welcomed it. Looking back on it, I realized that I've always wanted a family because I didn't have, that tight knit family. Like my mom or my dad wasn't there.
Yeah.
Um, I was raised by my grandparents until I was about 12. And then my grandmother passed,
Mm,
and then my granddad got dementia. So our roles kind of reversed, and I was taking care of him.
okay. Wow.
Um, so you got those formative years from like 13 to 18 where you're like just kind of doing your own thing.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize I always wanted a family. But looking back on it, I'm like, yeah, I just wanted a family, and
Right.
um, the technical side of parenting was always easy to me. Like
Hmm.
the you know, prioritizing my child, spending time with my child,
Yeah.
um, at the time children, um, learning how to discipline, um,
Mhm.
in a way that was different than I was. Like I can't remember the last time I laid a hand
Right.
on my kids. Like
Right.
it's been years, like to the point where I can joke about it and they'd be like, "Oh, you would never do that."
Right. Let me go to pull it back, and I'm just like, no, I get it though. I get it. I understand that. Yeah.
I think I never realized, 'cause I was always just in survival mode. I never realized how much it was draining me to
Mhm.
constantly give, 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 give,
Mhm.
without taking time, as an introvert to recoup and rebuild with myself and rejuvenate
Mhm.
myself. Recharge is what I was looking for.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Uh, it's I say now I am more better father emotionally as well. Um, I'm more emotionally available. So like playing with the kids was always easy,
Yeah. Yeah.
and listening to them when they're upset or something was easy,
Uh-huh.
but actually giving emotion in my responses rather than just like, this is what I'm supposed to do because this is what a parent does, you know?
That's
Um,
perfect. That is right there. When did you get to that? And what, like, was there something specific that got you to that point, to that turning point? Because I speak about it openly. I didn't hit that point until just a few years ago. I was still like figuring out, like, how do you dad? How do you father? I went through being like the, I'm supposed to be the dad, so everybody listen to me, right? Like I went from that, I went from, I went to the other side of things where I was like, I'm just gonna play and have a bunch of fun, and y'all can just be wild and break it. Yeah, you can have ice cream. It's 1 in the morning. Yeah, you can have ice cream. You know what I'm saying? And then to figure out that happy medium to, not just be a quote unquote weekend dad or not be this super, patriarchy or anything like that. Just be like very even keel where you're bringing, a decent balance of discipline, a decent balance of structure, a decent balance of love and openness to where your children can approach you and feel like, oh yeah, we're people too, versus we live in
mhm,
your world and we gotta abide by your rules no matter what happens. You see what I'm saying? Like we don't have a
yeah.
voice to speak up. That's why we, for whatever reason. So when did you get to that point and how did you get to that point?
I think at the end of my last relationship, um, Avery was 4, 3 or 4, one of those. And I began to learn about emotional intelligence. I was in college at the time,
Nice.
and I was trying to figure out, okay, how can I apply this to my life? I think this was probably like one of the most important classes I've ever taken at school. It's called intrapersonal communication. Um, and we would learn about emotional intelligence, and I was just like, okay. So as I learned to be emotionally intelligent by myself, it made me more aware of how I'm responding to things or how I'm not responding to the bids of my children. My because when our children make little ask of us all the time, and because they are, you know, because Western society has conditioned us to think that our children are sort of just like our little robots or trophies.
Yep.
That's why people are so quick to be like, my kid's a genius. Nobody's gonna call their kid average. Nobody's ever gonna
I
say,
got the
I
average
mean,
baby.
yeah, like he ain't gonna be president. I mean, he cool, you know. But
That level of honesty. So true though.
so I had to figure out, like, all right, um, it was just a click that, oh, they're humans in my household who I share life with. I don't have this control over them. Like I am sharing life with them, and I am raising adults, not kids. So if
Ooh.
I want them to be adults, at some point, if I want them to be healthy adults, I need to treat them as healthy, tiny adults, and they'll grow up and be big, healthy adults.
Yeah, yeah, bro, that right there, I think that's gold. Cause that I think that's one of the most common mistakes for parents in general. Period. Everybody thinks, okay, I want to have these great kids, and you treat them like kids, and so you compartmentalize them, and you put them in
Hmm.
a pocket where it's like, yeah, but you still got to do what I say. Yeah, but what I say goes, and you don't realize would you talk to an adult like that? Would
No.
you go? Would you? Because I say so. What?
Yeah.
You got to brush your teeth. Why? Because I say so. How about take a second and explain the importance of brushing your teeth and keeping up good
Yeah.
hygiene the same way you would explain it to an adult. You know what I'm saying? Or at least to mature thinking individuals. So that I think is a huge deal that you said that because that's I don't know. I think that's big. I think that's big, and I think that's a common mistake where everybody just goes, I'm the parent. I got to take care of you. This is my job. Blah blah blah. As opposed to like, okay, you're gonna be the next generation. I have to
Mm.
equip you with the tools to function in this society. Why would I not give you certain levels of, obviously age appropriate, but certain levels of information to where you can grow with this
Yes.
versus like, you know, you the one kid, you 17, and then somebody break your heart because they said Santa Claus not real. Wait a minute, we were supposed to have this talk. You know what I'm saying? Like
Hmm.
preparing them to have those kinds of. So that's awesome, man. I think that's pretty cool. So let me ask you, what do you feel like for you? What did you feel like something you learned about yourself since becoming a dad?
Um, I have learned um that so a lot of people will be like, "Oh, you're so patient," right?
Mm.
But I've learned that I'm not as patient as I thought I was.
So
um,
true. Oh Lord.
even with you saying that, right, and explaining things to kids, right? That's tiring. It's tiring.
Oh my gosh.
I need to be like, yo, just because I said so, like, because
Yeah.
you need to. But I can't because one thing I try to model like, okay, is this how God treats me?
Mm.
You know?
Okay.
So if God isn't impatient with me, who am I to be impatient with my kids? You
Solid.
know,
Solid.
if God isn't stern, for most part with me,
Yeah.
who am I to be stern with my kids? Like he disciplines me
Yeah.
because he loves me. I tell my kids that I said I discipline you because I love you
Right.
and I know you're better than this. I never tell them, stuff like you're stupid or
Right.
that was stupid or even if they do something like drop a glass, I'm like, oh, you made a mistake. This happens. We all make mistakes. I try to I'm listening to this book called How to Win Friends and Influence People. And they said in every conversation, you're either adding to someone's life or subtracting.
Ooh,
So I try to do my best to add in my conversations with them or my interactions with them.
I love it. I love it. That's awesome, man. That's awesome. Jeez, that's a great perspective. So let me ask you then, as far as like, because obviously there's gives and takes, there's ebbs and flows with this whole parenting thing. What do you feel like is the most rewarding part for you about being a father?
It sounds generic, but like seeing them like genuinely happy or um, exuding confidence.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
especially with well they lack confidence in certain areas in different ways. um Avery will lack sometimes she'll lack confidence in regards to standing up for herself, you know and Sammy will sometimes lack confidence in being able to do something. So when I see Sammy try to figure something out on his own and he does it, it's like, yes, you did that. Like, that's dope.
Oh,
When Avery stand up for herself, I'm like, yes, go stand up for yourself.
yeah.
Like,
Heck yeah.
so I think those are the moments where I'm like most proud of them, like watching them grow.
That's solid. That's solid. So the dynamic now this is kind of one of the things that I always give extra kudos um for for the dads who step up. And obviously I don't know the full details or the intricacies of your situation, but I always give kudos because I feel like there's a certain level of narcissism that comes from being a parent. There's a certain level of
Yeah.
like, I mean, but that's me though, right? Like there's a certain level of that when it comes to parenting. So when it comes to, taking on the responsibilities or in some cases if there's an amicable relationship with the kid's father, to where, you know, everybody's participating and working things out. I think it's a big deal as a man to be able to go into the different nuances of what that and what that brings about. So
Mhm.
how do you feel like you've been able to what has been the most um I guess challenging aspects as far as being stepping up? I mean, I can't even say it any other way. Just stepping up and being like, yeah, I'm here. I'm not You're not this kid and then this is my kid. I'm here. We're a
Mhm.
family. Here we go.
um I think one of the most challenging things is being, I guess sensitive to my role, to knowing my role, because his dad is active,
Yeah.
um, but it's more so like, um, so Avery's mom's brother, her uncle, right? He was mean to his mom, her mom growing up. So
Okay.
I've seen what a mean older brother can be and what he can do to a person. So when Sammy's mean to Avery, I kind of like I get like defensive and protective because I know what can happen.
Mhm, mhm.
And kids are mean to each other just in general, but like,
Me.
yeah, I try to make sure that doesn't happen, but I also don't want it to seem like I'm just being protective of Avery. So it's hard. It's a hard thing to balance.
Yeah, yeah.
Because my intentions and motive behind it isn't just, oh, this is my child. It's I am protecting her from something that I've seen happen.
Yeah. See, and that's what I mean, because there becomes a fine line, because all things considered equal, right? In that situation, you're stepping up, you're gonna be a parent to both, you're gonna parent equally. Well, that's not just the good stuff.
Right.
Disciplinary aspect of it too. And I know, from experience as well, but that can come off as, hey, why, you seem like you're putting a little bit more on him than her, or her than him, vice versa. So in navigating that, do you feel like, and this is something where you really got to think about it, do you feel like you kind of like pull back a little bit when it comes to disciplining
I
him?
do. Yes, I do. I do feel like I do that sometimes,
Yeah, yeah.
because I feel like I just don't ever want them to feel as if there's some kind of, and I cut into Avery too. Like when Avery's being,
Yeah.
annoying to him, I'm like, hey, cut it out. Like she said something the other day when he was talking to me, and I was like, that wasn't necessary, Avery. Like,
Yeah.
you know,
Kids got deep, man. They don't got no chill. My
uh,
daughter woke up one morning and said, "Your breath stink." I was like, well, come on now. It's 7 a.m. Give me a minute now. Let me get in there.
you brush my teeth.
Yeah, let me get to it. Oh man. No, I get that. Oh, see, now with that, because I mean, we can go so many different directions with this. But with that, what do you think right now in the world that we live in? What is your biggest fear for your kids? Because you have two, and yes, they are both yours, but the nuance of the situation causes so many variables, right? Like I know personally from co-parenting, like there is this like, okay, my kid's not with me in this moment.
Yeah.
A million things can happen, and things happen. What is your biggest fear for your children?
Um, it's gonna sound kind of crazy,
Uh-uh.
but my biggest fear is probably my children, and I don't see this happening, but probably my children um being lied to about the realities of this world. So they're blind to things. They're not woke, for lack of better terms.
Yeah, yeah,
Um, so from very early on, when I put my daughter to bed, I would tell her, you are loved, you are unique, you are black, and black is beautiful. You know,
yeah.
and I make sure I say that. So now I just randomly say, you are black, and she'll be like, black is beautiful.
Hey,
And
love it.
with Sammy, trying to do the same thing, um, but making him aware because he's older and he sees more of the world
Yeah.
of the little things that are right in his face, but he doesn't know about it.
Yeah.
I'm like, for example, we were driving and he turned the ceiling light on, and I said, "No, I turned it off." Right? And he goes, "Why?" I said, "Because in the neighborhood we're in, if they see that if a police officer see that I'm black, there's a higher chance that I get pulled over,
Mhm.
and with that chance comes with the chance of me losing my life."
Yeah.
So it's those conversations I can have with him a little deeper than I can with Avery. And my deepest fear really is for them to be, if I died and they were lied to about how the world is, so they're submissive to supremacy.
Wow. Wow, wow, wow. That's very deep, man. That's very deep. And so factual, right?
Hmm.
I know for a fact that my chances of getting pulled over depending on where I am, it goes up or down.
Yeah,
And
you in Caledonia too. I used to be shook out there.
you know what? You know what? So here's something that's very interesting. Because for a hot minute, I used to live over on Madison and Gilbert over there. I used to be
Oh yeah,
right over on G Street, right?
yeah.
Yeah, right in the so, and I have gotten pulled over um twice randomly. And I say randomly because a couple times I deserve it. You know why I pulled you over? Yep, that's not the speed limit, sir. You're right. But there's been a couple times where I've gotten into a pinch, and it. So obviously the neighborhood, they're gonna put a certain level of individual into that neighborhood. I don't like to get into the nuance of all this politics and stuff, but the reality of it is you more likely to get pulled over in the hood because that's they're looking for trouble.
It's true.
And they expect that everybody, you know, of a certain shade driving while black is gonna come with some stuff. Um,
Yeah.
so it's very interesting that you say that because I've always had the thought for me is what if I get because I've never gotten pulled over with my kids in the car.
Hmm.
What if I get pulled over with my girls in the car on the wrong side of town with somebody who is expecting me to be an aggressor?
Yes. That.
So as a result, they're already on the highest level of hmm. And I've always thought about that. And I'm a
Yeah.
CPL holder.
Scary.
So for me, I, I'm a CPL holder. So I always have my firearms on me, right? And so I always think to myself, what if I am in get up in a situation where somebody doesn't even allow me? Because there's certain rules that obviously owning a firearm and having a firearm, you gotta, if somebody pulls you over, you have to make the officer aware that you are a CPL holder, you are carrying.
Hmm.
What if I don't get to that point?
Yeah.
Like I mean, it's here nor there, but I definitely, I guess to sympathize with what you're saying, that's a big deal because I definitely don't want my girls to ever grow up on the like I want my kids to grow up in a happy lifestyle, but I don't want them to grow up as sheep. You still got
Yeah.
to know
Yes.
they making fun of you. Don't let them do that. Like speak
Yeah.
up for yourself. Like I've touched on this story a couple times with my oldest daughter. She had a situation with a young man who was just getting too handsy, and
Yeah.
I was very proud of her because through our conversation, she knows, you know, I own my body.
Yep.
She, baby girl, but daddy, you're yes, I'm the boss, but I don't own your body. That's
Exactly.
your body.
Hmm.
I don't tell you, look, you got to clean it because but I don't own your body. And so what you do, no one else owns your body. No one else tells you what to do with your body. If you feel uncomfortable, go and hit them with that stiff one. Like
Yeah.
got they got to move up off you. And that concept, and I actually had a conversation with my ex-wife about this with just like the brainwashing, like the people who don't allow these kids to think. And I think that's so dope that you're so actively thinking about that, like the little things, because it's so easy to put kids in the pocket, bro.
It is.
It's so easy. They're impressionable. They're looking for everybody for answers, everything for answers. So somebody can tell them something here, and that's reality from this point on.
Yep.
I
Especially when they have one of these. You know, they got access to the entire world.
Oh, life is so different now.
Yeah.
So different now. Because now, before it was don't let the dude up the block tell him nothing.
Hmm.
Now somebody over in Germany can talk to him. The
Yes.
dude from China over there giving them some info about how to do XYZ.
Through TikTok.
Right? It's TikTok, oh my god, right? And we live in a world of likes, so it's like, that's how you get popular. That's how you get famous. Get them likes up. People start doing all kinds of madness to get them likes up.
Man.
So that's rough. So let me ask you, because I like, I'm not gonna lie, I like your demeanor, your mindset about having, raising children. Where do you get that from? What's your experience like with excuse me, with your parents personally?
Um. So neither one of my parents raised me. Um. I do have a pretty decent relationship with my mom now. Um. it's it's not the same relationship I say it would be with a person who was raised by their mom. Like the emotional side of it, like I cognitively know that's my mom,
Right.
you know, and I have love for her. It's just that the emotional side is still developing.
Mhm.
My dad, we talk every once in a while. Um, like everybody got their own demons, so it's their absence no longer makes me angry, you
Mm.
know. Um, so I learned most of my parenting skills either from, it's gonna sound crazy, Dr. Heathcliff Huxtable, Uncle Phil, uh, who else? Michael, from Wife and Kids.
Oh, son.
Yeah,
Love it. No. Speak that truth though, man. Speak that truth.
and I've learned that I do get a lot of my mannerisms from my granddad,
Okay.
um, which is crazy because like I remember growing up, I thought I spent more time with my grandmother. But my sister was like, "No, you used to always say go, walk through the store with granddad, blah blah." So like, oh, I remember that, But
Yeah.
um, I do realize that I get a lot of mannerisms from him, good and bad, like really. So like, um, I try to be aware of like the sharpness that older black folks have,
Mhm.
and they have it for a reason, Um, but
Mhm.
not now that I'm aware of it,
Yeah.
I can tear it down, you know.
Interesting. Interesting. Because uh so a lot of those um instincts, a lot of those responses, reactions come from, experiences, obviously.
Hmm.
um we say, as far as like evolution goes, right, the first generation pushes forward the next generation's information, and
Hmm.
they're getting essentially what they need to survive for the next step. And as the next generation of things happens, like, we had the Nokia phone, you had to have this so you could play that snake game.
Yeah.
We grew up. Now they got this, so they can play whatever it is they playing, in their generation. And it's as silly as it sounds. This is DNA traits we're pushing forward. With your situation, let me ask you: do you feel like, and this is something I ask only because I've been thinking about it a lot lately myself. Do you ever consider that a lot of a lot of the person you are is pre-programmed into you from your father,
Yes.
versus versus the nurture part of it, right? The nurture versus nature type deal.
Um, I think it's about 60-40.
Okay,
uh,
okay. Oh, but what 60 though? Which 60?
I think I think for me, uh, shoot, this is tough because
Yeah.
I think for me, the seeing, how my granddad was, and then seeing how my dad was, or
Mm,
not seeing at the same time, kind
yeah.
of thing.
Yeah.
uh,
Oh,
I see some of those things in myself, and I'm like, yo, I just laugh like my dad, But uh,
funny because it's so true, bro.
yeah.
Oh Lord.
But I think the lack of nurture and lack of um, attachment to my parents
Mm,
plays a big role in who I am today. I learned a lot about it through my relationships because relationships are the most, I probably say, the most intimate relationship you have besides with your parent. You
yeah.
know, even you can be like this with your homies, but your homies don't get in you like your partner will.
Right.
So you really have to dig deep when you behind your partner. Just like simple things like trust issues.
Oh yeah.
Um, and it's not even like not even like a fidelity type trust. It's like, will you still be here kind of trust, Um, so I don't know if that answered your question now because I kind of rambled.
No, no, no. That's a solid. Here's why. Because and and I'm gonna be super vulnerable right now because I had this conversation with my lady the other night, and the premise of the conversation, basically what it was, the Cliff Notes version, is that I realize that I have this trauma where I don't feel like I'm worthy of being loved.
Mm,
And the general concept behind it all, the simplest answer, and regardless of what the reason is, or regardless of what how it came to be, the fact of the matter is, I feel like, to me, and somewhere ingrained in my head, is if I'm a dad today,
hmm
you gotta bring every form of military and then some if you're gonna try to take my kids from me.
yes.
You gotta bring everything you got and bring two of them because you're gonna need it.
hmm
So when I think of me and my relationship with my dad, and I go, if somebody, my dad goes, can be out of my life, make a choice to be out of my life, why is it, who else can do that? You see what
Yeah.
I'm saying? Like, how many, why, if your own, the way I feel about my kids, if my dad can do that to me, then how do I, then what's stopping anybody else from just rolling out and just being like, nah, you're not worth it.
Whew,
You know what I'm
yeah.
saying?
Yeah.
And that's a demon I deal with to this day. I was literally sitting with my lady the other day, like, having this conversation and realizing that, yo, this is where this stems from. How so that being said, what you just said just now, having having those thoughts, having those feelings, I can definitely relate to. So how do you deal with it? How do you personally deal with those things?
Whew. Um, it depends if I catch it in a moment or not. Sometimes I would do something and then later I go, "Oh, I didn't need to do that," and that will stem from this. Other times I'm just sitting there thinking, and I'm like, "Oh, that's why I do that," and I try to be more aware of. So I've started practicing mindfulness meditation,
Mm,
um, and it helps you be more aware of your emotions and your thoughts in the moment. Um, so I try to like, so it's kind of like, before I practice in mindfulness, my emotions and thoughts was doing this, and whatever happens, happens. But now everything's kind of slowed down and I can see certain emotions rise up and I can grab it and go, is this rational? Is this thought rational? Is this thought real? Does it come? And if it comes from a real place, what place does it come from? Um, and is it coming from that place because your mom wasn't there? Is that why you're feeling like this with her? Throw it out. You know, um, is it there are times like I look at my kids and I be ready to cry, right? I'm like, why am I sad? And then I'll be like, oh, it's because I'm a dad. I didn't have this. So like
ooh,
even that, it's like
woo.
I think mindfulness meditation probably helped me the most in processing my emotions and how to handle them. How to move forward is a whole different ball game because it's like I don't know that you ever fully heal. I think you always have your scars.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, and while they can be reopened, being more aware of your triggers can help you function better. It helps me function better. Like I'm aware of certain things that trigger me,
Yeah.
certain conversations. Um, I don't always engage in the conversations I need to have because I know they'll trigger me.
Hmm.
And I need to learn how to work through those. I need to learn how to um, be emotionally present in these conversations that I know are going to. I'll trigger myself before I even have the conversation. Like
Yeah.
I'm like, man, I gotta talk about this, and then I start to feel those emotions like, and I'll feel drained as if I had the conversation,
Yeah.
but I didn't.
Wow. Wow, bro, that is a great visualization because that helps bring so many things into perspective. That That's good. I really so this is what I'm talking about. Because and this is the whole reason for this, like this whole platform. Because the nuance, just like the we're here on this subject, bro. You're literally just parallels on this particular subject. And the way you just said that is something I've not thought about it that way before. Like to essentially have the time, using your mindful meditation to essentially slow things down to the point where you can actually take a second to analyze what am I actually going through and process it in a healthy way so that you can resolve what the issue is or at least come to some level of peace from that particular
Mm.
situation. I think is that's beautiful. So I mean, that's something that I'm sure, many people can benefit from just using that
Uh,
particular technique.
yeah, there's an app called Headspace.
Okay. I've heard of that.
They,
Heard of that.
yep, they do a great job with all kinds of meditation. They got meditations for confidence, sports meditations, all kinds of stuff.
Nice.
And then there's one called Calm, like just like calm.
Yeah.
Um, I think they both. I think Headspace has like a bunch of free ones on there, and then I think Calm might have like a 7.99 a month
Mhm.
subscription or something like that.
I have to look into that. I have to look into that.
I got them both from my therapist, so
Oh, dope. So, boy, we can go down a rabbit hole, man. We can go that because so here's the other thing, therapy. So many people view therapy in such a negative light, or
that's true.
such or what feels like such a pessimistic light. I'm not about to sit on no couch and tell nobody my business. I'm not gonna have them all up in my. They don't need to know why I'm doing. Okay, well that's not what this is for.
Right.
This is for you to and I'm not gonna go down this rabbit because we don't have the time for this one. We might have to do a whole episode, brother,
A
because
whole new
honestly,
episode.
brother, it can go so far from like the people who go, I don't want to allow someone else into my space and know my business, quote unquote, to
Hmm.
to the people that go, I'm afraid to tell somebody what my inner thoughts are. To
Hmm.
and this is gonna be a touchy one to the people that go, just give it all to God and just
Oh,
let it be.
which ain't don't help. It don't help. That's not healthy.
He helps those who help themselves. I'm gonna just put that out there.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna touch on it too much, but you see what I'm saying? Like we could go so many
Yeah.
directions with this man. But I am curious to know because you again, you seem so like brother, like the person that you are, and I love meeting good dads. Um, Probably all part of my trauma thing. I just have daddy issues. I don't know, but like people who really take the time to analyze what this is, what this whole parenting thing should be, in my opinion.
Hmm.
Like you said it perfectly earlier. You're raising good adults. You're raising them to be. You're not trying to get a bunch. So what lessons? Because you feel like it seems like you know quite a bit of. You have a lot of awareness. What lessons do you feel like as a kid you wish your parents would have taught you, or even just one lesson?
Ooh. Um. I think the biggest one is, man, that's tough. There's a few of them. So like, one of them would be really putting my all into things. Um, because growing up, I'm one of those people who can do just about anything.
Hmm. Hmm.
Um, and if I put my time into it, I can be great at some things. But because my like attention, I'm like, oh, I'm gonna go do this. All right, now I'm gonna go do this. Oh, now I'm
Squirrel.
gonna do this. Oh, I don't need to practice. Practice, what's that? Like,
Oh, you Allen Iverson over here.
yeah, what's practice?
Oh.
But then I look back and I'd be like, yo, I could have been so great.
Uh-huh.
For example, I could have been great at violin. I was good, And that's with me never taking my violin home to practice.
Wow.
I first chair, never take my violin home to practice.
Wow.
But had I taken it home, had I had someone tell me the importance of pouring your all into things, because pouring your all into things, it trickles over to like you look at somebody like Kobe Bryant, he poured his all into basketball, became one of the greatest basketball players ever.
Mhm.
Um, and then after he retired, he went and won an Oscar. Like you don't see that kind of thing.
That mentality. Yeah, it's amazing. That Mamba mentality, baby.
Yeah. He was on the road once and Vanessa was upset about something and he learned a whole song on piano, self-taught. Just listened to it, figured it out, and
Yeah.
played it for her. And it's like,
I didn't know that. Wow.
yeah, it's like that kind of mentality of like putting your all in the thing trickles over, you
Yeah.
know. I got to college and it was just like, what I need to study for? I learned real quick how important studying is.
Wow. Hey, need to study for these grades, bro.
Yeah, I was like, you learn so much when you actually read the books.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
You actually read the books.
that
Those
I
details.
think I think having a relationship with God
Yeah.
versus just following the rules. You know.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
Thank you, brother. And I hate to touch on these kinds of subjects because yeah, everybody's got a feeling, right? But the difference between just going book, 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 the book, the book, the book is great. But let's really think about the level of love that he has for us. Let's
Hmm.
really think about that and go, am I following his teachings or am I just so caught up in the book that I'm
Yeah.
missing the point?
Yeah.
Like, love your fellow man. Don't be sitting up in here judging.
Yeah. Like
Like, come on now. Don't be like. I'm not gonna touch on it. I'm not gonna touch because I don't have enough knowledge about it to go that deep. But I will say I do appreciate that statement.
what I thought about it is like, all right, the first century church didn't have a Bible,
Yeah.
right? Like the gospel, some of the gospels weren't even written until 70 AD, 40 years after Jesus was born, after Jesus died.
Hmm.
So how did they live?
Hmm.
How did they have a relationship with God? But we have become so Bible heavy
Hmm.
that we pretty much place the Bible right there with God, and that's not the instance.
Thank you.
That's not the case.
Right.
It's listening to the Holy Spirit and learning how to love God.
Right.
I had to learn. Okay, what ways do I connect with God? Because everybody doesn't connect to God with music, like they do in church. Everybody doesn't connect to God. You know, um, do dance or something. Some
Right.
people go to nature and they connect with God. I connect with God when I'm at the gym working out. That's like my place of peace.
Hmm.
You know. So learning how to love God for real on your own relationship, working hard, like putting your all into something, and I would say being confident in yourself.
Mm, mm. That's a big deal. That's a big deal. That's something I've only gotten in the last 2 years.
Me too.
That's oh my gosh, bro. We need oh my gosh, like for real though. Like
Yeah.
it really only became a thing and through some changes to really get to the point now where I'm like a whole new person. But
Hmm.
I yeah, that I mean, bro, you're hitting on some great points. I can think of several subjects that could lead us for another 2 hours, brother. Like, this
We
is
can do another session whenever you want, bro.
heck yeah, man. Heck yeah, for sure. And so this is part of one of the things I'm looking forward to in the future because, as this progresses, I definitely want to have some more things. And I think that these kinds of conversation reaffirm what I'm thinking of as far as like bringing men together of like minds for the purpose of, enrichment and growth and like really, and not on some like super like, nothing like that. Just like, casual, just chat,
Hmm.
just casual talk. Like if it leads to whatever it leads to, but just casual, just come as you are. We doing our thing, man. Ain't nothing extra. But let me ask you, because again, this I created this whole thing thinking to myself, there's gonna be I'm right now, I'm somewhere in the world and I just had my first kid. Me. the version of me, whatever. I just had my first kid. I'm going through whatever I'm going through. I'm a, choreographer at the time, blah, 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 trying to get on the road, dancer, professional, etc. There's somebody like me out there. There's somebody like you out there. There's somebody like fill in the blank, right? And
Yep.
so the whole concept of this was just sharing so that we have a platform where men can actually go and realize, hey, look, here's another person that's just like me in the same situation. Like in your case, I'm somebody's dating somebody who has a kid already, and now they have the biological kid and all that jazz is going on. How do I navigate this? Am I did I step in the right spot just now? Am I in the line, or did I step out? Did I break something? Like it did I discipline them too hard? Is it gonna come
Yeah.
off? Yeah, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, because these are so real things. And so this is awesome. Let me ask you, I'm curious to know, because the version of yourself, right? What advice would you have for him right now? Like,
Woo.
he just got in it. He in the thick of it right now. He at the point where he's like, oh my God, what do I do? Oh my God, what advice do you have for him?
I would tell young me to, in order to be the best father I could be, I need to take care of myself.
Mm,
Because
mm,
during that time, I was working third, so I was going to school. Um, my ex-wife was going to school. Um, Avery was born. I gained a lot of weight. I got depressed,
yeah.
but I just had to keep going. You know, I had to keep going, and I didn't know anything about self-care.
Wow.
So I would tell myself, in order to be the best version, because in order to be the best version, in order to be the best dad, you got to be the best version of you.
Yep.
So I would say, hey, take care of yourself. Stay in the gym, eat right, sleep as much as you can. Because I mean, thirds is thirds, so I'm gonna sleep as much. Like you ain't gonna get much sleep, but
Yeah.
sleep as much as you can. Um, and I would teach myself about mindfulness, so I can at least be semi mentally healthy.
Bro, that right there, I think, and I'm pretty sure quite a few dads that I've talked to on this podcast have said the same thing. Um, that right there, I think, is one of the most missed things. Because again, the stigma, the concept of a man, air quotes, you're tough, you're a protector, you're a provider, you're dot dot dot. And yes, essentially you want to be all those things, but and you have to also consider you a person. like
Yeah,
like like your kid can throw a rock and bust your head open just as easily, brother. Like, as tough as you are, your baby can take you down. You're
yeah,
still a person. So you have to consider the fact that you can break also. And breaking doesn't just mean physically, you can mentally break, you can emotionally break. And so really considering the fact that you have to be in a good space in order to be your best so that you can provide the best for your family. That is a huge deal. And I'm so glad that you brought it up, because I don't know. I think it's missed. I think it's one of those things that gets slept on. So
yeah.
that's dope, man.
Um, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Um, it's a two-part question.
Mhm.
Do you ever feel like, even after you spend time with your kids, that you didn't spend enough time with your kids? And if so, how do you deal with that?
Brother. So here's the thing. So like for me right now, I'm transitioning. I got a new job, and I'm on the literal 9 to 5. Right.
Mhm,
My kids go to school. I take them to school in the morning. They're at school all day. They come home. I work from home, so I'm in my office just working.
mhm. Me too.
I'm accessible, right? Like I can. You're with farmers. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Same.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I'm in the sales department. So yeah. 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 So you know what I'm saying. So like they're there. Like they can hear me talking, but they can't come in the room because daddy's working. They know
Mhm,
where food. So then from 5 to, assuming that they don't have an activity that night, because sometimes I get done working, they we can play for like 5 seconds, then they got to get dressed and get ready to go dance or get ready to go do whatever. So the feeling that you're bringing up right now is, I think, always there, because I feel like kids just always, and I should speak for myself. My kids always want more daddy time. Like,
Yeah.
daddy, let's my oldest daughter, daddy, let's snuggle on the couch and watch a movie.
Hmm.
That's her thing. Daddy, can we snuggle on the couch and watch a movie? Can you sit next to me? And let's play a game. We got this thing now where we just make up our games. Like we used to do, hide and seek, red light, green light, tag, all that. Now we just make up our games. So now it's like, we gonna take a sock and throw it and blah blah blah. The feeling of not spending enough time with my kids, I feel like is a perpetual one. Like I just always, always feel like, you know what? We could have did this.
Hmm.
I should have waited to do them dishes later.
Yes.
Bro, like the smallest and here's the worst part. It goes deeper than that cuz even like I feel like sometimes, and this is bad because it has to get done. Like, man, maybe I should have given him a bath a different time, or brushed the hair a different time, so that we could use this time to play instead of doing this thing. You know what I mean? So that's something that happens. I feel like all the time. And as far as dealing with it goes, it goes back to your point. I really just think about the fact that like I gotta give myself grace. I gotta really, really slow it all down, to reference your meditation. I really gotta slow it all down and analyze what really happened. Like, I didn't turn my shoulder and go sit on the couch and watch a game whilst my kids was playing. No, I was interacting with them. Though I would have wanted it to be more, and I feel like I could have given them more. We had time, and there's always tomorrow.
Mm.
And as far as like, as far as like, I don't feel like I'm ever gonna think it's enough, man. I just
Okay.
don't. I just don't. I always feel like I'm always be like, man, we could have went to Chuck E. Cheese. We had time. Yeah. Like, I always
Right.
feel like it, man. So I don't know. I don't know. How do you handle that?
I don't know, man, because like, all right, so like we've been doing renovations in the house, and which means I'm doing renovations in the house. So,
I
uh,
love it.
in doing that, it's taking a lot of my time after work. After work, I am putting up
Mm,
drywall or putting up tile or, and like, Sammy, he'll come in and he'll be like, "Hey, you wanna watch me play Fortnite for a little bit?" That's his thing. He likes me to even
watch.
if I can't play, watch.
Just to watch. They love it. They love it.
Yep. And it's like I can't, like, I gotta get this done, and Avery was like, she had a yo-yo, so she finally got herself a little yo-yo. So I bought one because I wanted to show her like some tricks. I
Hey,
know how to do all the tricks.
walk the dog, baby,
Yeah,
all that jazz. Yeah, man.
yeah. I showed her a couple of them, and then she's like, "Can we have a yo-yo competition?" And I was like, "Yeah, let's do that tomorrow." And then tomorrow came, and just life,
Fell
super
down.
busy. So then it's like I drop her off at school because she goes back to her mom today. Then she come back Wednesday.
Mhm.
Drop her off to school. But in the morning I hear her go, Daddy didn't get the chance to do the yo-yo competition with me. And I'll just hear those things, or think about like, oh, Sammy, saying I didn't get a chance to watch him play Fortnite, or you know, kick the soccer ball around with him. It's like those
Yeah.
things they break my heart, for lack of better terms. Like,
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
it's like, is that normal? Am I being over emotional? Like,
I don't think so. I don't think so. Oh, that's a solid thing though, because you really do, and so to my point, like you what you're saying, right? It's it's slowing it down and going, man, I did a good job. I may not have done the best job or even the job I wanted to do per se all the way, but I did a good job. Like really analyze the situation and go, no, we didn't get to the yo-yo part, but we did, run around. We did, I threw you up in the air like 7 times. My back hurt right now. I can feel it. You know what I'm saying? Like we
yeah,
did whatever it is, like taking the time to realize that you are doing a good job. Otherwise, you beat yourself up. Because I've done that. I've done that
that's
a lot.
that's good advice. Because even when you were saying that, I was like, well, I did take them to Auntie Anne's,
Mhm,
to get pretzels.
mhm.
Uh, we went to the mall, so like I don't ever think about those things. I just kind of like what I didn't do.
Exactly, we tear ourselves apart, man. When it comes to these babies, we tear ourselves apart. I've had several times where I'm like, am I messing up as a parent? Am I just screwing this up? Like my baby crying, like am I, and then not stopping to think in the moment, oh yeah, she been going since she got up. She's just tired. Right.
Yeah.
After this nap, she gonna be fine. I'm over here thinking, oh man, what I do? So that's a big deal. That is a big deal to really give yourself some points, give yourself some grace points, man. That's dope. I think that. Oh my gosh, if I could put that in like a I don't know, a refrigerator magnet or something, just somewhere you can see to like really think about that, because you get in it and you don't think about that, right? You don't think about it in the moment. You just get into
Yeah.
what you're doing and how you're feeling, and then you forget. Like, no, 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 I'm doing a good job. I'm present. I'm active. I actually take time to not just be a disciplinary or a fun dad. I'm finding the happy medium and making sure that I'm doing these things. So yeah, I forgot to to do thing, whatever that thing might be. But my kids are happy all around.
Yeah. I might have to keep that. Might have to like have a nightly reminder, like give yourself grace on top of my phone or
Brother,
something.
no joke. I literally and I'm a no joke. I literally have a reminder in my phone. Where is it? Let me see. I literally have a reminder every day that goes off in my phone. Oh, I wish I could find it. Where's it at? Ah, I can't find it. I never know where these things are. There it is, right there. I don't know if you can even see that. What it says at the very
Nah.
top. Oh, there it is.
There it is. Oh, okay, that's dope.
I
I am worthy of being loved.
every single day because of that conversation I had with my lady the other day. I really had to think about the fact that man, this happened. You know what I'm saying? Like, yes, this happened. This makes you feel this way, but brother, give yourself some grace.
Mm,
Like you
okay.
have to allow yourself to feel these things, or else you gonna catch on fire, man. You're human. You are human, so allow yourself to feel this, man. Yo, this time rolled up on us already, brother. Just like that. Just
Went
like,
by fast.
yeah, man. Look, I can't thank you enough for doing this, man. Dude, I like the way you process information, man. And we definitely, I'm not no joke. We definitely got to do another one, man. I'd love to
I'm
have you
down,
back on
bro.
for a second episode, man, for real. But this right here is what it's all about. Like talking out stuff like that, processing stuff like that. Like I said, I benefited something right out the gate. Like that slowing it down, that meditation, like really slowing thing down to like pick it apart and go, okay, this is what's going on here versus, having bees flying through your head all day kind of thing. So I can't thank you enough for this, man. Is there anything you got going on right now that you want to share? I mean, since you're on here, any projects, anything like that?
Um, just my usual. I got battles that I keep doing, and I got music that I'm releasing monthly. Pretty
Where can they
much.
find your stuff?
My artist name is Bel Air Beezy, so
Mhm.
I'm on Spotify, all the streaming services, and then my battles are all on YouTube under Beezy. Just type Beezy versus man, or you can go to my Instagram, which is Bel Air Beezy
Is that
underscore,
letter
and then
BZ?
Bel Air Beezy BEEZY.
Okay, perfect, perfect.
Yeah.
Love
Sammy stole that nickname too. So
it.
'cause I logged into my PlayStation Network account for him, right?
Yeah,
So all his friends, my name on there is Beezy, so all his friends now call him Beezy. They're like, is Beezy home? I'm
I
like,
love it. That's so
yeah,
cool.
man.
That's so cool. I love it. Well, man, I appreciate you, dog. I can't thank you enough because really, really, I benefited a lot from this. Selfishly, I'm not gonna lie.
Hey, me too,
This was a
dog.
good
So
little session, man. So I definitely appreciate you, man. I'm gonna let you get back to the family, and we definitely got to link up again, man. Like I said, I got some future projects in the works, and I'd love to have you on board for some of these things, man. For real, for real.
let's do that, bro, for real.
All
I
right, brother.
appreciate what you're doing, bro. For real, for real.
Thank you, man. Thank you so much. It's been a blessing, man. Like I'm not even playing. Like it has, I hope, have has brought, you know, something to someone somewhere, but also just to me, brother. It's been great just talking to all these dads and like getting all these different perspectives, because it really does like bring a lot of things in like, you know, like you just said earlier, it's like you didn't even think about it that way, like giving yourself that bit of grace. So these things
Yeah,
matter, man. We
that was
matter.
actually what I like. So,
Oh, shoot. All right, brother. Well, hey, I'm gonna let you get back to the family. I appreciate you, and we'll catch up soon.
all right, bro. You have a good night.
All right, likewise. Thank you.